Today, I'm taking you behind the scenes of one of the most meaningful creative projects I've ever made. It's a tribute book for my husband, Rich's 70th birthday. It was a labor of love, curiosity, design, spirituality, and a beautiful collaboration between creativity and technology. Now that the secret is out, I'm excited to show you how it all came together. I've always loved making personal, creative books. For Rich's milestone birthday, I wanted something more than a card and more than a photo album. I wanted to create a book that captured the impact he's had on the world so far, a book rooted in love, memory, gratitude, and the life we have dared to imagine together. I began where every story begins, with the source material. I gathered photos from his childhood, teen years, college, career, our adventures, family, and our life here in California. Some of the photos were old and weathered, so I cleaned them up as best I could and prepared them as digital assets. I also collected stories, memories, letters, cards, notes, newspaper articles, and little details that would later become the text throughout the book. I used three main tools: ChatGPT to help me refine my text and page concepts, Procreate for creating backgrounds, my spirals, frames, and texture, and then Canva for assembling the final spreads in a 10 by 10 format. Each tool played a different role, and together they allowed me to design something deeply personal and beautifully polished. The structure settled into a rhythm early on. I began with a dedication letter, and then a visual family history, childhood pages, college years, and then each decade of his life so far. Every decade got 2 pages, one with photos and one with a narrative. And this gave the book flow and consistency, and it let me highlight the qualities, growth, and meaning of each chapter of his life so far. I wanted a visual language that was subtle, elegant, and symbolic, so I chose a palette of cream, blue, navy, and gold, calm, grounded, timeless. And I used a spiral motif throughout the book as a symbol of growth, evolution, and the inner journey. The frames were clean, modern, and slightly softened to unify all of the imagery across the different decades of his life so far. The writing was the hardest part, but became my favorite part. I wanted each section to carry emotional truth: his steadiness, generosity, intelligence, humor, leadership, and kindness. Everything I wrote was too long to fit in the pages, so ChatGPT helped me condense my words without losing the heart and the meaning. But the heart of every sentence came from lived experience. I wanted the tone to feel somewhat poetic, but also real, warm, and true. In Procreate, I created the color palette for the project. I then made each spiral background, and then I layered in the photos. I made the frames in Procreate, and then I chose the Palatino and Allura fonts, and then I assembled it all so that the book would look cohesive. After I designed each page in Procreate, I then uploaded each page into Canva to check the margins and be sure that it would fit into the 10 by 10 book layout for Shutterfly. As I checked the margins and I adjusted spacing, I then went back into Procreate to make the necessary adjustments. And then when everything finally clicked into place, the pages felt like chapters of a beautiful unfolding story. I wasn't sure which book manufacturer to use, and I considered several, but I went with Shutterfly because they had a 10 by 10 premium lay flat hardcover, which is what I want, and the size matched my design perfectly. The colors printed beautifully, and the lay flat pages really allowed the spreads to shine. This project reminded me of why I love to create. It taught me that creativity isn't just about making something pretty. It's about making something meaningful with love and honoring someone's story. If you've ever wanted to create something deeply personal, I hope this inspires you to start. You can blend art, storytelling, and technology to make something that becomes a true legacy. If you enjoyed seeing behind the scenes of this project, there are many more creative videos on my channel: AI inspiration, the Soul Artist Experience lessons, all available right here on YouTube for free. And if you ever decide to make a tribute book of your own, I hope you go for it. It's truly fulfilling for you, the artist, and it's a once-in-a-lifetime gift for the person you love. Here's the box that the gift went in. I think it turned out just great.